Hello, test one, two, test one, two. Alrighty, so, um, yeah, welcome to Discord, Dr. Schindler and Brandon. This is the server I made. So you can see it's called the World of Rome. If we look at the settings, you can come in here and you can change the image. All you have to do is either click here or you can click up here and change it. Um, so I just made it the Roman Empire with all the names on it. Like I said, you can change it whatever you want. If you want to change the name, you can do that too. You just click here and edit it. And then there should be a box that'll come down here and say save. And then when you're done changing it, you just hit save changes. Since I didn't change anything, it went back. You don't really need an AFK channel. Nobody who should be in your class would be AFK during this time. But um, I have it set to an AFK timeout of 5 minutes, which just means that if they're in a voice chat channel, which I'll show you here in a second, and they don't talk for 5 minutes, they get removed by the service itself, so they don't just like sit there and nobody knows whether they're talking or not, or if they're actually there. Um, Random welcome messages. This is kind of a nerdy thing, but literally when somebody joins the chat, you'll see um, a message that says welcome, or this person has arrived, or the party was brought by this person. It's just kind of a fun way to have everybody get introduced. Um, so I changed mine to only at mentions, but that's just because I have a lot of Discord servers I'm in, and to only get the at mentions is probably the best way to notify students. Um, what this means is if you have this on, any message that's sent in here will come to you if it's related to you in any way. Like, since you're going to be the admin, you will get every single message that is sent ping, and it'll make like a doo-doo sound. So just keep that in mind. I would suggest using the only at mentions because I've allowed everybody to at your role. Speaking of roles, next tab. These are the roles tabs. When you join, you will receive the Princeps role. This role is an administrative role, and you have every responsibility and power in the entire thing. Just going through some of the big ones. You are able to view and audit logs. So, like if I added a moderator bot, he would have like an audit chat where you could see everything that was being posted um, in just like one single feed. And you could set it to where it would delete messages and things like that if certain words and stuff were used. And if you'd like me to do that, I can do that for you. But besides that, you have the administrator role, which means that you can bypass every channel specific permission. As an administrator, that just means that like if I was to set up permissions, um, the people who were allowed to enter those rooms are the only people allowed besides you, because you have the administrative role. Um, Manage server, you're able to change people's permissions and move people from certain regions to the others. And that's the same thing down here with actually moving people. It's got its own section right here, move members. So when somebody's in a voice chat that they shouldn't be, you can click and drag them to another place. Or if you want to drag somebody into your office, because I can make your office a private space, and you want somebody to be in there one-on-one, you can actually grab their icon, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second, and you can just drag them into your office. So, um, next up we have Brandon's role, which is the console. He has every permission except the administrative permission. If you'd like me to turn that on or teach you how to do it, it's the same thing. You just click right here. When you guys join, I'll give you these two roles. Legionnaires, this is going to be your students. They will display separately so you can see which students are online and which ones aren't. Same thing for both of you, so that way people can see when you're online, or if you're not. uh, because you'll appear next to it. And I'll show you what that looks like too. But anyway, here's the audit log, all that stuff. Like I said, he gets all the same permissions. One priority uh, thing that I gave you that I did not give Brandon was priority speaker, and I can do that as well. But essentially, priority speaker is if you have push to talk enabled on your keyboard, and that's literally just binding a key to where you can push to speak to everyone. When you are in a chat room, if you use the push to talk button, You don't really have to have your mic on like push to talk itself, but if you use the push to talk priority keybind, as it says down here, right here, when you hit push to talk, you will be the only person that anybody can hear. Which means that if everybody's talking over you and you want to get everybody's attention, you push the keybind and say the thing you'd like to say. And that's pretty much it. Um, like I said, you can move members, you can mute members, you can deafen them. So, for example, if somebody's talking a lot and they're causing a lot of other people not to be able to hear you, and you don't want to keep having to push the priority speaker button, you can just mute them and they can't talk. It's pretty fun. You're just gonna basically right click on somebody's name to do all of this stuff to them. Um, Same thing with deafen. Uh, Besides that, you also are able to manage people's nicknames, and you can change your own when you make your account. If you don't like your name to be real in this server, it can be real because this server is a private server. And I've asked that everybody change their name to their actual name in the start area, but if they don't, then you can always go in and have them change it forcibly. If somebody changes their name to something you do not like, manage nicknames allows you to change it for them. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second as well. You don't really need to worry about the emojis thing. This is just something that gamers use. But you can basically upload like emojis from your favorite games, which is kind of fun. Moderation. Um, this is streamer mode section stuff, so you have to enable streamer mode to do moderation. But essentially, moderation is for streams to make sure that people aren't like abusing the stream or doing things they shouldn't be in the text chat, all that stuff. Audit log. Same thing. You want to come here and look at the audit log for the chat rooms, you can. The rest of this stuff is kind of just stuff you don't really need. Webhooks is like in case you want to post a link somewhere for people to go and look at stuff. Um, right now you can see we have two members. They both have the Legionnaire roles, myself and Dusty. Um, and like I said, if you want to change his nickname, you right click on him, as I did, and you can see I can mute him here if he's talking a lot and I don't want him to, or I can change his nickname right here. I can also kick or ban, and that would be you. That would be what you could do. So like, let's say he was a student and then he unenrolled from the class. You could completely drop him from the class by just like clicking and banning him, essentially, which is basically just removing him. Um, but yeah, so now we're getting to the real stuff. Invites. Um, this one, I'm going to get rid of these two. So this invite lasts forever. It's the link I sent you. So as long as you use this link, you can send it to everybody and it will last forever. I've already done that for you. If you need help making another one, I can do that too. Bans. Since you don't have anybody banned, they won't appear here. But when you do ban somebody, let's say you ban somebody on accident, you can come here and unban them. Pretty nice. And then if you ever feel the need, I mean, you can use this for years to years to come because you're going to have ownership of it, but you can just delete the server if you ever feel like you need to. Um, So, yeah, awesome. As you can see, I've made all of these fantastic little sections for you. I have all of the legions together. I have the Great Forum for lectures. So if you want to start doing some lectures here, you can. Or if you want to just stream a lecture or something like that. Let's say Blackboard is being particularly difficult one day. You could come in here and do your lecture from here by going into lecture text and lecture voice. And you can actually stream right here by going live. See that little button? Go live? Yeah. So you'd click this, and then what would happen is your screen would show up as what you have. So you can screen share what you're using. If I was to screen share this, it would do that thing it did earlier on Blackboard where you got like the infinite screens. And that's not something that's too big of a deal. I mean, like I said, I can show you what that looks like. So you can go live and you can see I can stream all the things I'm looking at. So I can stream Google. I can stream OBS, which is the software I'm using to record this. I can, I guess, stream Malwarebytes, which is my um, auto protection for my auto protection, my computer software protection. And then I have my lecture text and Discord, which is this. And like I said, that's where you get the infinite screen. Or you can go over here to screens. And I have two computer monitors set up. So Screen 2 is my monitor to my left. Screen 1 is my monitor to my right. And you can just do a screen if you have multiple screens. That way you can just kind of transfer everything around. This one's probably the more useful one for you if you're using a single set laptop or something like that, because you can just do different things that you're looking at. And this way, when you transfer off of something, they'll still be looking at that. Like, for example, if I was to click this, even though I'm not personally on that screen, I would be streaming it to you. Let's say, um, see, I'm in lecture voice right now. If I don't want to be in lecture voice anymore and I want to disconnect, I go right here to disconnect, and it pulls me out. So that's pretty nice. You can see here we have Kriko, which turned into Dusty. Um, and he changed his own nickname. I didn't have to do that, but you can do it if somebody doesn't. Um, Welcome. As you all join, please change your nickname to your actual name. This is just something I posted. I'm actually going to pin this. I saved this for you. So, pinning means you've made a message quite important. If you, I think I quoted that. Hold on. If you hit pin, you hit pin like that. People can now come up here to pin messages and see what's been said. So that way, if you type something really important and you want people to be able to find it pretty easily, you can pin it so people can come back and look for it. Pretty simple. Not a big deal there. Your members list, that's what this is over here. If you hit that, it'll hide it. If you hit it again, it'll open it. You can send emojis and GIFs and stuff down here as well. Notifications, you can mute channels and stuff like this with this. See, that mutes this channel. So now if anybody types in lecture chat, even if they do an @ you won't see it. Again, @ mentions, you can look at those too. These are all the ones from every server I'm in. You can also switch it to just this server so you can see if anybody said anything directly to you. If you ever need help with anything that I didn't cover in this, you can always just click help. Continuing on. So, you can see that I've made a whole bunch of these. These are called folders or categories. You might be asking yourself, how do I make my own categories? Well, I'll tell you. So, you can see that I can shrink all of these. There's that one. And since I'm in lecture text, this one won't go away, just because I'm actually currently in this chat room for my lecture. But essentially, you can hide all of them like that, so you can just kind of see all of them at once. And if you want to add a channel to them, you just click the plus next to it. But let's say you want to add a complete category. You're going to right click somewhere down below, and you're going to create category, and we'll just call it test cat for fun. Test cat, right? These will show up in all caps, so you don't really have to worry about typing it phonetically or whatever, because it'll always show up as all caps. Then what you can do is click and drag and move. So wherever you want to put it. Now the green line highlights which one it will be located under. You want it at the top, it goes underneath the top. And then you just drag and drop. If you want to add channels to it, you can add a text channel by clicking this box. Keep in mind that text channels can't have caps in the names. So if I hit Shift and H, it comes out as a lowercase. Now if I hit space, you get a little dash, because the text chat doesn't allow you to do the name with spaces or capitals. So make sure whatever you're typing doesn't need capitals or something like that to be legible. So we'll call this test chat text. See? So that's what that's going to look like. And you can even set it to a private channel and then add permissions. And I'll show you how to do that too, because I haven't done that to your channel yet, but I will. So create channel. Done. So test chat text has now appeared. Let's go over here and let's go down to voice. Let's do the same thing. Test chat voice. See how I can change the capitalization and the spacing here? That's because it's a voice chat channel. And that means that people are going to be able to discern the difference. That's mostly why they do it, besides the hashtags next to it, is so that people can discern the difference between what a text chat is and what a voice chat is. Again, you can set the privacy for these, and I'll show you how to do that with your own. So, now I have a full test cat channel, see, and you can shrink it and pop it up. Let's go to your office and look around. So, I'm going to move that there. I didn't move the actual text. What I did is I was in this chat room and I just clicked this and moved over. So Now you're in your own office, and like I said, I've left you a little message down here that tells you this is a nice space for you to do work and host your office hours or private chats. And the reason it's a nice place to do your office hours is because over here you can see that I'm online. So if I'm online and I want people to be able to talk to me, I come over here and just click this, and I can show that I'm online. You can see that there is no streamer mode enabled or whatever. Um, the other thing you can do is if you don't want people to see you're online, this is where your status is located down here. You can change it online, idle, do not disturb, or invisible. People won't even know you're online if you're invisible. Same thing for do not disturb. Nobody will send you notifications or anything like that if you have do not disturb on. Idle just means that you're away from keyboard, and this will automatically register if you're not actually typing and things. Like if you leave for a set number of minutes, it will put you in the idle state for your account. You can even custom status. Let's say I'm terrible at spelling, by the way, so um, let's just type in making a video. Done. So now you can see that this is my new status, and I can clear it after whatever amount of time I want. 4 hours? Let's say I'm office hours open. I can type that too, right? Office hours open. And then I can even do little emojis next to that if I wanted to. Obviously, I don't have a whole lot of emojis to put in there, but let's do Space Invader, right? Because Space Invader is kind of cool. Office hours open. Clear after 30 minutes. And I'll hit save. And now look, people can now see that my office hours are open up here without anybody having to go and like actually come and try and get into my chat room, blah 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 blah. I'm gonna delete test cat by the way. And simple as that, it's gone. Test cat's gone. You can delete all the separate channels too. See? Done. All I'm doing there is right clicking and then going down here to delete. Done. So I'm in your office chat, like I said. Now, what if I don't want this chat room to be visible to all my students? I'm glad you asked. You can see here you have an edit channel and you have a create channel thing here. You have a create invite. You can create invites to certain chat rooms for certain people. You can go here and you can edit permissions on these chat rooms. So this is permissions synced with Prinkep Schindler's office, right? The roles that should be allowed in here are Prinkeps and probably the console, because I'm assuming you want Brandon to be able to come to your office. These few people are the only two people allowed to do anything in this room. So, see I've selected Prinkeps. Now I can go through and select his individual permissions. Because this is your chat room, you can do anything you'd like. That's right, anything. You have the power solely to do whatever you'd want, just as the Emperor of Rome, or I guess in your case, the Princeps. Um, so I can save changes. Now look, Princeps has all of these permissions, and these slashes just means that like they were not enabled or enabled. They were just kind of there. You could do it or not. Console, right? He's not allowed to manage permissions in your office. It's your office. Manage webhooks? Sure, he can drop some links. Manage channel? No, it's your office, not his. Create invite? Yeah, sure, he can create an invite to your office. Why not? Well, I mean, maybe he shouldn't invite people to your office on his own. He's allowed to read messages, send messages, unless you don't want him to read messages. You get? Cool. Um, and these TTS messages are text to speak. That just means that somebody's using a voice typer. So instead of actually typing everything out, they're just like tick, 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 tick. They're actually saying the words and they're typing as they go. This is something you can just enable with messages. So if you want them to be able to send messages, you can have them be able to send type to text messages. Um, uh, Manage messages. No, he shouldn't be able to manage the messages in your chat room. If he sends something, it should be something that you're allowed to read and not be able to not get deleted and stuff. Sure, he can embed links. He can attach files. He can read message history. He can mention those people. He can use external emojis, I guess, and he can add reactions. Reactions are another thing I'll cover here in a minute, but essentially those are the two things, right? These are the things that people are allowed to do in your office and not allowed to do in your office. Now, since I'm the administrator, I am able to get into your office just because I have the admin powers, because I own the server. But when you finally get logged in, I will transfer ownership unless you want me to keep it for a minute to help you learn everything properly. But I'm hoping this will be an in-depth enough guide to give you that. But yeah, that's kind of what that looks like. So now you can see that. I don't know if I saved that. Did I save that? I did. And you can turn this off for at everyone, so that way nobody else can just like get in here. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make this to where it's not everyone can just get in here. Now what about Legionnaires? Well, I guess we could make it to where they can send messages and read messages, but that's about it. That's all I think you'd really want them to be able to do, and add reactions. Um, they don't really need to be able to do that. They shouldn't have to be able to do that. I don't think they should be able to read message history. They can attach files. They can also probably embed links. They shouldn't be able to manage, and they shouldn't be able to. Well, I guess they can. I don't want them to be able to do any of that. Okay, so Legionnaires have those abilities in your chat, and you can even turn them off like completely. So essentially, what you can do is you can actually just get rid of them. So you can remove them here, and if you remove them, what happens is you can see right here. If you remove them, all of the permissions you gave them go away. And so what I've essentially done is I've made it to where this chat is now locked. Once I did everyone, you can see how it went from being a regular chat room to a locked chat room. You have to make sure you adjust the everyone settings, otherwise anyone and everyone can do whatever they want. Again, add everyone. You change it all to off. So not just anyone can get in here and do whatever. Like, they actually have to be invited and you have to actually move them in. Save changes. Now let's add print caps. You will have every responsibility possible. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and do most of this for you in every chat room, just because I want you to be able to know how to do it. So I'm doing it for you live. See, you have every responsibility now. Um, and you can sync print caps for everything. Um, and that's just making it to where uh, this role has a certain permission. Now, you can actually just do this for the entire category, which is kind of fun. And I'll teach you how to do that here in a second as well. Because like I said, right now I'm doing the detour and I'm fucking around with all of this type of stuff. The console, I'm not even giving him access to this voice chat. If you want him in here, I'll show you how to do that. Not everyone doesn't have those responsibilities. All right, cool. So that should be everything for that, right? Now you can see that's locked too. Well, what if I wanted to make the whole thing locked? Let's go to edit category. You can go here to permissions and you can do the same thing. So for everyone, they're not allowed to even get in here. That's right. Just nothing. They're not allowed to do any of it. And I haven't messed around with this too much, but uh, as far as that goes, this is what that looks like. Overview. Again, this is your office. Um, you can see that everybody doesn't have these abilities. You, however, have all of them. And like I said, when you get in here, you can actually come in here and read these too if you want. But these are all the basic things, right? You can save changes right here. So now these are all your responsibilities, right? And now everybody else will have these blank ones if you invite them in. So for example, Brandon, right? Brandon can read your chat, but he can't just jump in your office to talk to you. Unless you want him to. You can let me know and I can change that too. But essentially right now, your entire office is off limits to anybody who isn't me, the owner, you, the admin. Is he offline? Sorry, my bad. I'm checking on stuff. Did he like leave? Yeah, you can see Dusty's still there. Oh, sorry, that was my bad. Okay, so the other thing about these chat rooms is when you see people online, the people who you can see are the people who have access to that channel. So for example, I moved in here. You can see I'm the only person from the Legionnaires that has access, and that's because I'm the owner. If I wasn't the owner, I wouldn't even be able to do that. Um, you are currently the only person who has access here. So anywhere in here, if I click, you can see I'm the only one who shows up. Same thing for Brandon. You see Brandon's office hasn't been assigned those roles yet. Let's go up to Brandon's actual office and edit the permissions. So the permissions will be Princeps. You get all these responsibilities because just because it's Brandon's office doesn't mean you shouldn't have responsibility for it because you're going to own this place, so it doesn't really matter. Also, because you own everything, like when you actually get on, you'll own everything. It won't really matter if you set all of these permissions um, for your role console or Princeps because you will be the owner will have all of these responsibilities. No one can do anything to you as the owner. You will always be able to fix whatever it is somebody did. Um, so yeah. So now you can see that Brandon and you are the only two people who are allowed in the office. Um, Interesting. Oh, it's because I didn't sync them. Hold on. Right? Oh, and I didn't disable these. Haha. I knew I was forgetting something. Again, I told you you have to do the add everyone, otherwise things get hairy, and then it doesn't look like anything looks like it's working, but it is, I promise. Problem solving. Okay, so now let's look at what your office looks like. See, Brandon's office is now on lockdown. Let's go back to your office for a second and make sure I did the add everyone, because I forgot to do it that time too. No, I did it. Okay. So yeah, see, your office is on lock, so is Brandon's. General chat, otherwise known as the Great Forum, is looking pretty good. See, now you can see that Dusty doesn't appear anymore, and that's because he doesn't have ownership and he's not permissed to be here. If I was to give Dusty the console role, you would actually be able to see him. So let's look and see what that looks like. I'm gonna go into the here. See, so I'm actually gonna remove myself from this voice chat room as well. Let's look at Dusty, right? I can add roles by going here. So I can just click on his name and then it'll show up. I'm gonna left click on it, so not right click but left. If you right click, you can do the same thing by going down here. And you can change his nickname, you can invite him to the server, you can remove him as a friend if he's your friend. If not, it's whatever. You can see there's 3 roles here, or you can just come here and hit the plus and do the same thing. Let's give him the console role and see what happens, right? So now, look, as console, if I go up here to the office text, he now appears as console, right? Because he has that role. And you can give as many people that role as you'd like, right? Um, and then if you want to take it away as simple as this. Boom, he's gone. See? Easy. Um, Same thing here. If you right click it and change it, and then you go, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. You can click that and go back. Now he's just a Legionnaire. Legionnaires are what I would assign all your students. It just distinguishes them from the at everyone role. So that way, if you slide them into a text room that you've banned at everyone to do anything in to make permissions proper, they are still able to talk and stuff. And I'll show you how to move people here in a second. So let's go into Office Voice. So you can see I'm now voice chat enabled. And if there's a problem with voice chat, you'll be able to see that because this won't look like it does. It'll be like a half bar or even yellow. If it turns yellow, you know that you're having a problem. You might want to disconnect and reconnect. So let's say I'm in this room in Office Voice here, and I want to move somebody to PrintCap's office. I can grab and drop in the office for the PrintCap. Let's say they're in your office and you don't want them there anymore. Pick them out. Let's say you don't even want them in Brandon's office. Drop them in the lecture voice. Ta-da! Simple as that. So that's how you move people. You literally just walk up, left click on them, and then you can drag them to any appropriate voice channel. And you can see these aren't open, but if they were, I'd be able to drop you in any one of those as well. So now we disconnect. When you invite people, you should invite people to this room right here. And you can do that just by clicking that little plus button right there. And then um, you can basically edit the invite link right here. So you can come in here and at the bottom, you see how I hit that edit button? Now I have the choice. Expire after what? 1 day, 12 hours, 6 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, or never. Number of maximum uses. You can set it to 100 uses, so that way nobody can use the same link more than that, or they can't spread it a shit ton. If you do no limit, you can do that. Um, Temporary membership. So this is something that you can do if you have guest speakers or something like that. You can invite them with a temporary membership. When they arrive, they are here and they are automatically kicked and disconnected when they are done on the server. So like when they turn off and they get off, it'll kick them automatically. Pretty cool. I wouldn't do this unless you really need to. For students, just leave it like this and then hit generate and you'll see that this link shows up. It says it's hidden right now, but if you hit copy, you'll see it pops up. You can actually go down here and see what it looks like. See that? You can send that to people because I haven't deleted that permission or whatever. But that is a link you can send people so they can join. And I'll put that in your office so that way you have that. Um, call it link that never expires. There. That is the link to the Discord. All you're going to do is highlight it. I didn't get the H. Copy. And you can post it wherever you want. Or you can go here. And you can copy the message link directly from here. Pretty cool. You can even edit your messages. So let's say you type something and then you realize you typed it wrong. Like for this. You can edit it. You go through and edit it, or you can cancel the edit. When you're done typing your edit, all you do is hit enter again, and it'll save it automatically. Um, let's see what else. When your students actually get here, I'm gonna make a bunch of roles for these as well, and you can assign people to them. So for example, I'll teach you how to make roles real quick. Server settings. You're gonna go to roles. You're gonna hit this little plus button. See how that comes up below Legionnaires? You can move them up or down, and this is their order of importance. How they will be associated. Technically, Legionnaires should be more important because this is an actual student's role, and the new role that I'm creating is going to be the Legio role for my specific Legion I'm in. So we'll just call it Legio for now. And then, oh, soup, I forgot to save it. See? You forget things. Um, and this is so that you can make it to where only those people can access these chat rooms, and that just not everybody can flop around and go around and blah blah blah. You can also just make a bunch of discussion rooms, which is pretty fun if you learned how to make chats as far as I've showed it so far. Like I said, you just create category, and then after you create your category, you can hit these little plus buttons and add a text and a voice channel. And then what's really cool is, let's say I have made this category, right? And I've made these lecture text, but I want to copy them. I can clone this channel, create it, and then I can move this to whatever section I want it to be in. So that way I don't have to keep typing everything. I can just clone it. Pretty fun. I'm going to delete that lecture text. All right. So let's call this one, oof, sorry, my bad. Legio I Germanica. So let's go back over here to the roles section where I was editing everything. Server settings. And then we're going to go to roles. You can see I called it Legio I Germanica. And I probably spelled that wrong. But look, you can also change the color of these roles. So that one could be that color if you'd like. I don't know the traditional Roman colors of the legions, but I'm assuming that's what you'll probably want to change them to. just because it's fun. If you can't find the color you're looking for right there, you can always just make it in hex. And then you just kind of drag that around until you get the color you want. See that? Easy enough. So you can save changes for that, right? And you don't have to display these roles differently um, unless you want to. And I might even do that just because, like, if you have students who don't have Legio roles, you can see which ones they are. I don't remember which people are in which Legio, so, or Legion. Um, so it's up to you to determine that if you want to use that. This is how you make them show up in their own sections. And this is kind of cool because the people in those sections will only appear in those sections. So you can actually see who's on working in their groups at the time. Um, you can do this thing where it's allow anyone to at mention this role. This means that if somebody is in their chat room and they want to type to the rest of their group and the rest of their group has this channel muted except for ats, they can now ping their entire group by doing this. So let's just save this for now. And we're going to go here to, let's give myself this role, Legio Germanica. And you can go in here. I don't have the permissions signed on here yet, but literally what you can do is type at, and you can see all of the people I can at here. So because I'm the owner, I can at everyone, but only you will be able to at everyone besides me. Um, you can see it already tells you which ones can at who. See that? At Legio I Germanica. Now, if anything I type before or after this will ping to everyone. So pinging is the art of basically um, getting everybody's attention by giving them a notification. Um, and so this is the way you ping people is at whatever you're trying to at. So if you want to at all of the students, all you do is at Legionnaires because you're going to assign them onto that role when they get into the room. And I can even do that for you as they join. But at Legionnaires, and then you can make an announcement in lecture text if you'd like so everybody can read it. But yeah, so I'll create all of these roles too, just so that everyone can at their own groups. And it's up to you to assign them to the students, or I can do it. I just don't know which ones are which. So, um, but yeah, besides that, I think that's about it. So yeah, just quickly glossing over what we covered. We covered how to create channels and how to create categories. Categories will give you this nice little formulated close-up look. You can see all of this just like that because it's all categorized. Um, the other thing is because it's all categorized, um, you're able to easily go through and look at everything that's on. Like if I was to open all of these, you could see every student, every person that's on here. We've covered what the sidebar looks like when you have people online. You can see everybody's been assigned a Legionnaire role that's here. And those people, as they are assigned Legionnaire roles, will show up underneath the Legionnaire section. Anybody who isn't will show up as a white name, such as in the Great Form. You can see when he arrived, he had a white name. Now he has a red name. Um, Other things we covered: how to edit permissions to channels, how to remove people's permissions to channels, how to move people around, how to mute people, kick ban, all of that stuff. How to go live if you're trying to share something with your students, how to change your status online, how to mute your own self, how to deafen yourself, which means that you can't hear anybody, how to change your own settings. Um, like I said, all of this stuff up here, how to pin messages that are important for your students, and everything else that goes along with managing the server. You can invite people here. You can create more categories and channels here. Notification settings is how you change all of that. It's how you change the name of the channel. And then the last thing is, like I said, going into service channels, how to add roles. And roles are just things that you assign to people to make it easier to talk to those independent people. If everybody has this Legio I Germanico thing, and you decide to make a post for them specifically, you can just at Legio I Germanica, and only those students, 4 or 5 students that are in that group, will receive that message. Pretty awesome, right? I agree. But yeah, so That's how you run a Discord server. If you have any other questions or need any bots installed, there's plenty of things you can do. I mean, this is the other uh, server I host. Um, and on this server, you can see all of the chat rooms I have. Um, and I even have something called a music bot. And in the music bot, you can see there's some cool little things I can do for you where you can make it to where it plays music for you. But yeah, besides that, that's all I got for you. If you have any questions, um, I'm always free to answer them. Like I said, I'm usually online, and you'll be able to see that because of my green dot. And yeah, happy times creating your chat rooms and using this. I hope that if this is useful enough to you, that you continue to use it for years to come. Um, but yeah, besides that, thank you.